Hey, good morning. This is just a list of announcements, okay? This isn't a really official meeting because meetings would suggest that you're able to respond back to what I'm talking about, and I'm not using that type of platform now. I will in the future, okay? So I'll give you a voice as time proceeds, but for now, I just want to give you some kind of pre-meeting things that you need to know before Wednesday begins. Um, First thing is this, if I can get my thing going. Agenda items. Okay, first, thank you for all who contributed to the Lou family. They weren't feeling well last week or two, and Christian was in the hospital for a good amount of time, but he is feeling better. He is at home recovering still, getting a little bit better, better, better each day. And mostly was a little under the weather. Didn't have the virus, is doing well too. So they're slowly getting better, but also quarantined uh, during those 2 weeks until they feel completely better. Okay, but wish them well and just want you to know that they're gradually getting better. And again, thank you for all the donations. You know they appreciate it greatly. We are down to 22 teachers. Okay, in May we had 25, but we did lose almost 3 full teachers to either Chandler Island Academy or to a 1 year just leave of absence. So Jen Falk is taking a leave of absence for 1 year. Good for her, especially during this illness time. Okay, I know some other people wish they could have that as well. Um, Dorothy is going to Chandler Online full time, and Tamara is going for part time. Okay, so they will start the year off that way. It's possible that they may return class by class as the years go, as the months go by, but we kind of wait and see. All right, we'll see what happens that quarter and that semester. It's completely dictated on how students want to return to the regular classroom. Okay, so we'll see how that emerges throughout the school year. Thank you to all those people who agreed to take classes on their behalf. Okay, and if and when they return, and hopefully we say it's more soon, sooner than later, when they return, those classes will move back to them. All right. Most of their classes went to other teachers amongst the departments. We did have some that kind of dissolved away. We took those students and moved them to other classes, but again, thank you to all those people who agreed to take classes. We at one time of the 22 teachers that we had 20 people doing 6/5. Okay, and it's been less than a little bit since Tamara's now going half time with Channel Online and half with us. But I appreciate all the help that was offered during that. I'll say that 2 days where we were really scrambling as to what to do. They kind of threw that at us last minute. They told us on Thursday, here's how the show is going to be. And again, we appreciate all your cooperation with that. I know that's not easy for many. Okay. All right. You're going to have to make a syllabus, of course, adjust those things based off our distance learning. Okay. We won't know until I believe it's the 7th until we're uh, whether we're going to be on campus on the 17th of August or maybe a little bit later. That's when the health report comes out. So prepare for obtaining assignments and things from students that are um, based off our virtual classroom, which is meetings, collecting work through Google Classroom, etc. Okay, put that in your syllabus. It's probably a good idea to make a video of your syllabus, meaning talk about all your pieces because kids won't flat out read it. Okay, we have to make sure that they're a little bit more accountable, and if you somehow present it to them in some way, it's going to be a little bit better for them in terms of knowing how the dynamics of your class work. Okay, make sure you include methods for homework. A lot of times people, again, will just check off homework like we typically do in class, but again, if you're going to do it virtually through a different way, like through Google Classroom, collecting it that way, make sure that's well explained. Okay, you may want to include a grade for notes. That sounds different and kind of weird, but I have a feeling if kids get in the habit of just looking at videos or looking at PowerPoints, they're not going to write a thing down. Okay, so for my students, I may give them like the worksheet or the note sheet to fill in the blanks and things like that. Maybe a good idea to have them write something down, kind of force them to be a student as well as a mathematician, and maybe collect it as part of a grade just while we're gone, okay, or while we're not face to face, just so they get into good habits while we are not together. Okay, keep that in mind. Talk about it within your small teams. Okay, we'll talk about assessments a little bit later in terms of how we want to do that. Some of you had a little bit of practice with that last year. some of those ideas may be a good thing to share amongst everybody, because some people had to be a little bit more accountable with that than others, because more people did that than not. And any ideas are good for that, okay? All right, I'm gonna pass out that form to you for you to give your students and have them submit to you who their previous school and teacher were, okay? So that's still important. I wanna make sure kids are in the right class, okay? I don't wanna miss that piece. And then again, if there's some inconsistencies, we'll make sure we get students put back in the right class, okay? I also pass out an honors letter for those students who have honor students, sorry, for those teachers who have honor students or AP students. And that was just kind of what we expected of their commitment during a school year. And I'm gonna look for that and send that to you, but that's an important thing that we need to give out so that students are aware that they need to stick it out. Textbooks, okay, this is a huge issue. We collected most of the textbooks in the beginning of the summer. They have not at this time shared that they're gonna have a textbook distribution day, even though I've asked for it, okay? This is not pivotal for Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, because we still have that online version through our subscription, okay? We have that for one more year. For the upper classes, okay, anything from Math 4 or higher, some of the books that we're using are really old, and there's not an e-version for that, okay? Some of the newer ones that we have do have an e-version for it, and they're charging a fortune for it for a one-year subscription, okay? Largely because people aren't buying textbooks, okay? Because they know they can't give them to kids. I was hoping to hold out and not commit to purchasing the online version if, in fact, we were actually going to return the 17th of August, okay? I think we could have held out for 2 weeks not having a textbooks. Once students come to campus, it's easy to give them a book and say, here, there's your book for the year. But I don't know when that first day is going to be. It could be the 17th of August, could be later. And so I have everything pretty much in line. I've already talked to district. I already have POs for pre-calculus and calculus textbooks. I'm still waiting on 2 more publications to see if I can get those. And if I can, then I'll probably just order them just to play it safe. It's probably going to cost us probably like 20 grand, okay, just for 1 year. And the bad thing is they become somewhat obsolete once students come to class that first day. But I have to kind of prepare for the worst so that we're not doing extra work for those higher classes, okay? Again, older books like that old pre-calc book that we use for honors pre-calc in the first half of the year, there's not a subscription for that, okay? There's not one for the first half of the year that you use for that Blitzer book for Math 4, okay? So we'll have to think of some new things to do to cover it for that first half of the year, right? Same thing with TI 84 graphing calculators, okay? I don't know how to get one to every kid. They did have a free subscription at one time, but I don't know if that's gone for kids. I haven't heard that it's still there for kids. I know they're gonna give it for teachers, okay? I need to contact the rep for that. However, if we're gonna be able to put them on our new Chromebooks and when those come, that's probably where you wanna place it. You're probably gonna be able to put it on one desktop or one laptop. And if we have a chance to put it on your school computer that you're taking home for the Chromebook, that's probably the best one, okay? If it doesn't work out that way, you can put it on your home computer. But again, I had to contact the rep for that, all right? Let's see. After school tutoring. This is probably the best news of all this. There's no after school tutoring yet. We'll worry about that when the time comes, okay? I don't even know how that'll look since we can't really work face-to-face. It's probably gonna be a little bit of course, distance learning. Kids will probably have to share what the problem is, and it'll probably be hard for them to show their work to you, okay? All right, lessons, okay? We spent the last 2 weeks doing virtual learning, and I'll be honest with you, I did all of it, and it was a complete drag, okay? I found nothing engaging about what was presented, okay? And if anything that I learned is that this is a good lesson for us as teachers as we present material for students as the year approaches, okay? You consider that some of these students have not had a good formal lesson since, gosh, maybe before spring break where they can interact with teachers easily, etc. Okay? Anything that you can do to enhance your lesson is going to be an advantage to your kids, okay? So kind of keep that in mind, okay? First thing is this: you must have your picture or your face or your voice on your lesson, okay? Unlike fourth quarter, you cannot, for example, as a team, have one person do section 2.3 in geometry and then have everybody use that and make that the universal lesson, okay? You can use a universal set of notes or a universal set of PowerPoints that you give to every teacher, let every teacher use in that content area, okay? But your voice and your face must be the ones that show on it, okay? I can't have Julie Chesley's BC calculus notes presented to my kids with her face and voice on it, okay? You need to teach your kids, and that's something that Dan will share, okay? Also, keep your website updated. There's a lot of ways that students and parents can look through what your expectations are for a week, and your website is the number one. Even though we're using things like Google Classroom and other components, keep that one most updated. Okay. Finally, okay, and maybe this is the most important thing: have fun with your work. Okay, whether it's you're putting your video together or your lesson together. If when you're done, you do a lesson and you're finished with it, if you're not excited about it, your kids aren't going to be excited about it. Your students are. Okay, so give them something that you're kind of proud of in the end. Okay, and not just like pages and pages of notes. Think of something that will help engage your students so that in the end, they won't feel like we feel the last 2 weeks when your presentations are done, okay? Again, the last 2 weeks for our professional development were pretty much a drag, okay? Try not to make it a drag for them. Try to give them something that will kind of excite them or lighten them up. I last year gave a PowerPoint presentation that I tried to honor that, try to focus on that, trying to make it kind of pop culture and engaging, and not only to get some compliments from some students on it, but I also got some from fellow teachers who also worked in the same content area. I attached it as a YouTube, okay? So, and it doesn't mean it's perfect, okay? But it kind of stresses the idea that, you know what, if I think it was kind of fun and some other teachers did, probably the students will find it engaging as well. Okay. Another thing I saw, and this I saw by accident, Linda Moon last year did something that was kind of fun. It was just kind of out of the blue, but she just took a small video of her dog running around and her house. It was just kind of a funny moment. And she sent it to her kids, right? And she said, "This is not an assignment, but I would like you, before the end of the week, send me a small video of a pet in your house," right? It wasn't for a grade, okay? And it was just a way for her students to kind of be captured in the moment, right? And not that we can't have not that we don't want to have, our proper math, but the thing that I saw from that is, one, that it made me smile when I saw it, and I know her students smiled, okay, when they saw it. And I think that's a way to sometimes grab your students when we're in this down moments, okay? So consider being yourself. Whatever you would kind of say silly in your classroom, you can still use that in this platform as well. It may not be as easy, okay? But in the end, yeah, try to find ways to capture your kids, okay? Because we know how hard it was for us as adults to be captured just through our professional development, okay? All right, absences and subs. I still, we don't have to worry about that for right now. I'm gonna say this: if during our virtual learning time, when we're not meeting face-to-face, if you're not in town, okay, or at home during our school day, okay, make sure you call your stuff in, okay? Like if you're planning on going on a Friday to, the woods or the forest or the Flagstaff for the weekend, that's fine, but call it in, okay? There's huge issues with teachers abusing that, okay? And if you aren't wise about that and you do silly things like post your vacations on Facebook on Friday at noon, saying, "Here's where I am," you're gonna get nailed on it, okay? So be smart, be wise, okay? And again, you don't have a sub, but call in absences if you're not going to be around. And make sure you tell your students as well, so that they're not trying to contact you if you're gone on a Friday or gone on a Monday, etc. Okay? Absences are going to be strange when we finally meet face to face. Okay, and I think that you kind of probably already know that. Nevertheless, I don't want you at school and you're sick. Okay, and I don't want you to feel bad if you have to take time off. All right, that's not our department issue. That's going to be a school issue. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, technology assistance, okay? I learned more about technology in the last 6 months than I have probably the previous 6 years, okay? PowerPoints, used to know how to do, but I've gotten better at it. Got a lot of help from Suzanne Kelly. I learned how to put things on YouTube. I learned how to put this Zoom feature together with a camera long before we learned Loom a week ago. All right, so if you have any questions on how to do stuff like that, I feel more confident than I did before, and I can help you with that. Okay, so feel free to ask if you want to see something like this with your own lessons. All right, this is nothing more than a PowerPoint slide that I'm hooking up to a Zoom, very similar to Loom. The one thing I like about this feature is that I'll just say with PowerPoint is Microsoft Office, which allows us to use the nice equation editor. Okay, I tried using Slides, and Slides does not have an equation editor that's similar to ours or good enough as the Microsoft one. All right, so you use whatever you want, but I typically like to use the Microsoft Office materials because I think the other ones are limited, the ones that are Google. All right, and I know you can save one to the other and vice versa, but they don't save as clean as I would prefer. All right, so for me, I just use a lot of Microsoft Office, and then I just put things in Zoom. I'm going to try to Loom also to see if it's better. But if you have any questions on how to make something like this, I can help you out. All right. Second, if you need supplies for any of this, you let me know. I'll figure it out. Some people have asked, do I use my document camera or should I use the tripod with an attached phone to write out my work like I would see in Khan Academy? You can certainly do that. That's up to you. Okay. Some people say, hey, can I have my computer do handwritten work like this, where it kind of shows it with a technology base, and I can show you that if you want. Okay, Suzanne Kelly helped me with that. Okay, you may want something like this, and let's see if I can pull this off. But you may want something like this. Okay, where I can do this on let's call it tablets, and okay, show that to your students in that way. Okay, and it films things that way, and it works out pretty clean. So that is another option. Okay, so keep that in mind. And if you need some supplies, you let me know. All right. That's my second 12th thing. Sorry, supplies. I put everything that we had ordered typically for a school year in the supply room. Actually, it's in my room. I'm doing that today. So grab what you need, take it home if you want. And if there's something that's not in there that you want, let me know. And if there's something that's not in there, that's technology related, I can get that for you too. Okay. Surveys. I may send you some surveys just through our email, just so I can get the vibe of what's going on. All right. I may bring some donuts this week. I may provide a lunch for you this week. And I want to make sure that you're here. And two, wonder if you're even comfortable with it. Okay. I don't want to buy some food if in the end you're like, you know what, I don't like the social distancing. I don't want to. You don't want to pick food where other people are picking food, and I get that. I want to honor what your comfort level is. So just look for those, and if you can fill those out, all I'm trying to do is make the week good and provide some things for you that will make you smile a little bit and save you a couple bucks on a lunch or a breakfast. Okay, so look at that and let me know what your comfort levels are on that. All right, if you have any questions, okay, send me an email and I'll take all your questions and I'll respond to them collectively so that in the end, I'm answering them all at once. Okay, there's a strong likelihood that I'll probably give you another a meeting where we can kind of all interact together, but it'll probably be short because I'm covering most of my thoughts right now. Okay. Finally, just some great news. I have two pieces of great news. And one was stressed a little bit earlier, but Ashley Mock won the Principals Award for the yearbook and was honored during the last graduation that we had. That was one of the virtual graduations. And so congratulations to her and all her hard work and dedication to students and classes. It was fun to see someone in our math department recognized. So we were excited for her. And second, Lainey Gomez got married. She is no longer Lainey Gomez. She is Lainey Bernier. There's another Bernier on campus named Brian. However, we have the more important one within our department. Okay. So again, if you have any questions on stuff, whether it's something technology related, because maybe you saw a video that looked like this and you may want to do something like that in your classroom, you let me know. I'll give you a shortcut version of it so you're not listening to many PowerPoints of professional development. And if you have any questions just about how the school year is going, then feel free to write me an email, and I will collect all those questions and send a group reply to everybody. Okay? All right. I hope you're doing well, and that is all I have. I think we will see you Wednesday.